this might not be so easy. Welcome back to Radio for Us. I am Tom, 2 Echo 0 Kilo Oscar Fox, and today is the video that you've waited 3 months for, the much anticipated, long awaited return of Radio My Ride. So we are back with our 2008 Chevrolet Matiz to turn it into a radio mobile. But the last video was 3 months ago, so what has changed? So this thing didn't do too great in its MOT. In fact, I'd say it did pretty terribly in its MOT. Kind of scrappable, but for the sake of the series, I've kept it alive. I've paid what I had to pay to keep this thing on the road. She's had a successfully passed MOT and she is back and better than ever. In terms of the radios, in the last episode, you may recall that our Anytone AT-778 radio just gave up on us. Just mid-transmit into the Luton repeater, gone. It was just non-existent anymore. And we put that down to a fuse. We were wrong. So I pulled out the fuses. Not the problem. The fuses were absolutely fine. So I pulled apart the connector and we found it. The 12-volt connector on that radio had a little short and that's what was causing that. Quite an easy fix. I fixed it. We plugged it back in. On a little drive, I'm chatting away to a G7 HMV. Hello, Matt, if you're watching. It set on fire. Yeah, the connector set on fire. Set the 12-volt socket on fire. There was smoke while I was driving. Wait, it's so dangerous. Do not do that. Disclaimer, don't wire a radio like that. That was really not ideal in the slightest. So today we're putting a fuse box in this bad boy so we can use the radio a lot more safely. Not much else is new. Up here we've got a 4-meter mag mount antenna. The 4-meter radio is not in currently. That's a future video, but there's no point in trying to hide it. It's up there. You've seen it. You saw it in probably the 4-meter video me and Jack did. That's a 4-meter antenna, which gives away a future project going into this car. We're also treating this car as a 4-wheeled billboard. We've got our Radio for Us branding on the back window because, hey, if it gets 1 new subscriber, it was worthwhile. Now, for the task at hand, like I say, we're going to throw a fuse box in this bad boy so that we can use the radio safely, but it also gives us much easier options to wire future radios. The 4-meter radio, a HF radio, a CB radio, when those things come. And I have ideas. So I bought this on eBay. It was about £6. It's just a little, you can't really see it. Let's get it out. It's just a little 6-blade fuse block. Really easy. You've got positive in the bottom, negative on top. You can have your positive radio. I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to describe. And you've got a bus bar across the top. Just trust me, it's easy. I'm going to show you how we're going to wire it. And I've got to drill another hole in the car to get wires to the engine bay. But hey, I've got a very positive track record of drilling holes in this thing. That's never gone wrong before, has it? So let's get started. Welcome to the engine bay. It's actually a really neat, tidy engine bay. Everything's packed in quite neatly, but that's our problem here. So here's our battery, a tiny 35 amp hour battery in this car. At some point we're going to flatten this, I've got no doubt. If we're running multiple radios, this thing isn't going to last, but for now it's going to be absolutely fine. We'll look at options for that in the future. We need to connect 2 wires, like so, to the positive and the negative. Those wires need to be routed through the bulkhead into the inside of the vehicle. The issue with that is access. I really can't get to the bulkhead very easily. I don't think I'll fit a drill down there. It really isn't better on this side. In fact, significantly worse. This is our best access, and that's not great. So we may have to drill from the inside of the vehicle and kind of just hope we don't hit anything. That feels like a highly irresponsible way of doing this. But let's see if we can pull out the glove box and go from there. So, cheeky bottle of brake fluid. Don't worry about that. It's just a minor leak. Don't worry about any of that. Does this glove box come out? No. Not. Oh. Yeah, it might do. Oh, and like that, the whole glove box is out. So glove box is out. from an access point of view, I don't think that's helped us. That's the space we're now working with. The access really is poor. I don't know how I'm going to go about this. One thing I have noticed, and I don't know if the camera's going to really pick this up, at the back there, which I don't think the camera's picking up at all. See if my torch or my phone will help. At the back there, you see that plate at the top. I think it looks like it's got something like kind of push fasteners on it. I think that whole plate might push out and give us access to the inside, possibly. It also possibly doesn't do that, but on the basis that it might, I'm willing to try. I'm wearing a bit of a light coloured t-shirt to be climbing around an engine bay. That was a bit of a poor choice on my part. Oh, I can see the inside of the car. Hang on a minute. Okay. Yeah, okay. That was exactly what we needed to do. Oh, caught it. That was exactly what we needed to do. But I don't want to remove the whole thing because that plate's like yay big. We're only running 2 wires through it. But it's rubber on both sides. So I think if I pull it out, drill a hole through it, that shouldn't chafe because it's rubber. And I've got particularly thick-walled cable anyway. Yeah, that'd be a better solution. I don't want a huge gaping hole to the engine bay. So that might be the better move. So let's try to get this out and we'll see what we're working with. What is in my back pocket? I'm sitting on something that is not oh, the car keys. Of course it is. Right. So the engine side has got those little push connectors, which I've managed to push them all, and that wanted to come through. This side, I don't know how to describe it. If it comes out, it's not going back in. It's designed that it can come out, but it's got a couple of little corners that you have to tear. I don't really want to be doing that. So with the limited access we've got, I'm going to try to get a drill in and drill a hole through. This might not work at all. This is generally the part where these videos go wrong. The drill is in. Right. I don't know if it's in the right place, but we have a hole. So that's the hole. She's not pretty, but we're never going to see it. It also possibly isn't big enough, but we'll figure that out in a minute. So it goes in this side and comes out right at the top of that plate there. Yeah. Let's try to get some cable through that. So I'm using it's actually only 6mm, but it's super thick walled automotive cable. Some good amount of copper on there. This is actually stripped out of my old pickup truck when I took out the CB radio. And it seems absolutely good. It worked in there on literally exactly the same setup with a little fuse box. So I don't see why it wouldn't work in this. So that is being reused. But are both of these side by side going to fit through that hole? I'm really not overly convinced. But hey, let's try. We've only gone and done it fairly seamlessly. This channel's starting to look professional, man. So the cable's through. We've got enough left on the inside for the fuse box, which has actually already got ring terminals on it from when it was in the pickup truck. We've got way too much length this side, so I'm going to chop this off. Out there. Oh. Yeah, it's some thick cable. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it, but look at the insulation on that. I'm going to try to separate the positive and negative without cutting through that shielding. Cool. Positive there, negative there. This is all looking a little bit too good. Very carefully cut through that, because I don't think my wire strippers are going to have a good time with this. Yeah, look at that. Oh. Well, I don't know where that just went. And same with that one. Well, let's try the strippers. I don't know if they're going to be big enough. These strippers don't really like coax. It's kind of a similar thickness to Mini 8. Oh, no, they don't. No, that's not a good idea. Back to the snips. Easy as that. Oh, I've dropped that one as well. Oh, my car's going to smell like burning plastic. Where have they gone? Push this connector down slightly further. Yeah. So you can see the copper just poking through. I'll give that a good old crimp. I still haven't bought a proper crimp tool. We're going to use the wire strippers. And that is a nice crimp connection. That feels good and sturdy. Yeah, another good crimp. Nice, lovely, lovely, lovely. We love that. Now, let's try and get these connected to the battery. No, bad idea. So before we wire those to the battery, let's throw the fuse box on the other end so we don't just have live cables knocking around, because that doesn't sound like fun. So the lighting's going to be horrendous, but here we have our red and black cables and the little fuse box I showed you earlier. So we'll just pull off that plastic protective cover, and it's positive at the top, negative on the bottom. Nice clear plus and minus indicators on there. Take the nut off. Oh, don't be losing that, Tom. And then we'll have the red cable at the top, and we'll put that lock washer back on, followed by a flat washer, followed by a nut, and the same, exactly the same, down the bottom. Put the ring terminal over, lock washer, flat washer, nut. And that is wired in. Easy as that. We then need to find somewhere to mount that, but we'll worry about that in a little while. Let's get back to the battery. Oh, I can't get it far enough over. Do I have to remove? Oh no, oh no. So I didn't bring my full toolkit with me today, and I think that might be about to bite us in the bum. If I remove this battery like holder first, then this won't be in the way as much. And then that there can come. Oh no, it's all okay. That can come out. Fine, fine. Okay, I can work with that. So let's now fit over. Yes. Oh, it's really tight. That's a problem. If I can just break the tension. I can't. I need leverage. Oh. One last ditch attempt. What if the drill can break it? Oh yes, it can. Yes. Oh, I'm a genius. I'm a genius. I'm actually a certified genius. So now that the drill's taken the tension, I should be able to just unthread the rest of that. And get that black wire over there. And then that can be tensioned back down. That can go over there, and then that nut can go. So loose cables need to be cable tied, to stop them touching anything and melt them. In classic Radio Fresh fashion, I've forgotten the cable ties. So I will do that later on, just trust me, believe me that I will do it, and I'll come back to that. But for now, that's the engine bay done. We can close this puppy up. So we're back down with a fuse box. This is the end of the Anytone cable. I chopped off the connector weeks ago to stop anybody else risking plugging that in. Didn't want another fire in this car, that's for damn sure. I don't have many electrical connectors with me. That was a little bit of a flaw on my part, but I think I can get by with what I've got. So I've got some little spade terminals which should work well. Nice strong connection, yeah. The next one of them goes on. This cable is far too long, but we'll deal with that another time. The other ring terminal smushed on there, and then we'll give that a nice crimp as well. Lovely job. We'll choose where we want this to go. We'll just choose that one there. Don't need to take it all the way out because we've got a spade, not a ring. We'll push the spade over, and we'll tighten it back down. So that one's on. Again, any of the bus bar. We'll just use one on the end for ease. Loosen it up. We'll push the spade over. And we'll tighten it down. The fact that light's come on there is a very, very good sign, because that shows that we've got a circuit, there's just a fuse missing. So this radio's max draw is 5 amps, so if we throw in a 7.5 amp fuse, we should avoid having any future fires in this vehicle, because I didn't enjoy that last time. That was not very fun. And theoretically, it's done it by itself. The radio comes straight on. Look at that, we've done it, yes! Come on! I don't believe it. Well, the radio's working, that's for sure. And just like that, jobs are good, and we need to secure that that fuse panel somewhere. Next video. And I promise you, the next Radio My Ride will not take 3 months. Now that this fuse block's installed, we've got a great foundation for all the future projects I want to do with this car. And now I'm quite excited. 2 Echo 0 Kilo Oscar Fox testing. CQ, calling through the repeater. This is 2 Echo 0 Kilo Oscar Foxtrot. Just looking for a quick audio check. If someone can let me know how I'm coming in, please. 2 Echo 0 Kilo Oscar Foxtrot. Don't know that repeater's really getting us. Yeah, unfortunately, we are not opening any repeaters. So I can't show you this working right now, but the screen comes on. Everything appears to work as it should, so I am quite happy with that. I hope you found this video informative. I hope you've learnt something, or just enjoyed watching me figure things out, because I never map things out. I don't really plan. You might consider it gung-ho, but hey, that's 3 successful projects in 3 weeks. We've had the flower pot antenna, we've had the first episode of the MOS, and now Radio My Ride episode 3, and all 3 have gone pretty spot on, if I'm honest. People are gonna start doubting this is a Radio for Us video, honestly. Things have to go wrong sometimes, but recently they're not. Thank you for watching. If there's anything you want to see specifically done or installed in this vehicle, let me know in the comments down below. I'll be fascinated to know what you want to see. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the Discord, links in the description below. And I'll see you next time, 73s.